Furious Driving, proud to be supported by Diamond Bright, protecting, cleaning and caring for the Furious fleet and for yours with 10% off using code FD10. Follow the links in the description below. Hello and welcome to Furious Driving, and this, as I'm sure you already know, is my 1973 Rover P6 V8, which now has shoehorned under its very, well, come back to this in a minute, shiny bonnet, a 4.6 litre out of a P38 Range Rover, which is fantastic apart from two little problems: slight cooling issue, which is going to be hopefully an easy fix, and secondly, as you may have just heard, the new alternator is making a horrible squeaky noise. But first of all, I'm going to look at something totally unrelated and really unimportant, because that's the most important thing to do. This is its lovely shiny gloss black bonnet, which was painted a few years ago but has done 100 miles on the road maybe. It's been indoors most of its life. However, when the car was stuck at the garage, which had it for most of last year, it was parked under a hedge, and the surface on it, well, it looks like, I guess you would call it, in hot rod circles, lace painting, where you lay a net curtain over a bit of paint and you spray paint very lightly, and the pattern of the lace curtain goes through and you get like a ghost effect of the pattern of the lace curtain. It's actually very beautiful if it's done properly. However, this looks like the leaves of the weeds that were falling onto the car and sat in it for months on end, which I didn't know they were doing. I thought the car was dry stored when they had it for a long time. I was a bit shocked when I saw the condition it was in. When Hawk Classics took the car and fixed the oil problem in 2 hours instead of 7 months, they also, as just a gift, a courtesy if you like, they machine polished the bonnet, and it came back to me looking absolutely stunning, and I was so happy that the paintwork had been saved. Unfortunately, after a couple of weeks, it kind of just came back to this again, so I was a bit disappointed. I've now machine polished it twice myself, and every time after a few days it comes back. So today, because the thing looking pretty is of course the most important thing of all when it comes to running a classic car, never mind reliability, never mind going places, it's got to look good. That's what matters most. I am going to do something I've never done before, and actually scares me a tiny bit, but at this point I think if I can't get this right, I'm going to have to pay to have the bonnet repainted, which will be really annoying. I'm going to try and wet sand this, which means getting sort of 2,500–3,000 grit paper, delicately wet sanding it to try and get a polish back, then moving on to cutting paste and doing the cutting which I've done previously, and finally polishing it to give it a good finish. Well, I've never done this before, and it's not something I've ever wanted to do either, but currently I don't think I've got any choice. This is 2,500 grit, it's clean water with a bit of washing up liquid in there. If it starts going well, I'll take off the bonnet, furniture, the badge and the windscreen washers. Here we go. Got a wooden block, very, very gentle. So I've spent about an hour machine polishing this, but obviously machine polishing is a lot less aggressive than wet and dry paper. Right, so I can see I'm taking paint off that because I can see the black pigment on there. Let's wipe that off and see how it looks. Well, that looks really bad. Definitely not an improvement. I hope I can polish that out now. So I've been on an excavation trip into the garage and found a can of G7, which is the traditional, just done some painting on your car, polishing compound. It does, however, look like it should be in the back of a car cave, car hoarder kind of barn find video rather than something I'm actually going to use, and it's not as soft as it used to be. I am, however, going to give it a whirl anyway, because if this does do anything, it'll just give it a nice little prep layer ready to go in with some diamond cut, which is like the modern, again, slightly softer equivalent of this stuff. sure this is doing anything. I don't know, it's hard to tell. Well, there's black on the cloth, so maybe it is doing something. Well, do you know what? I'm actually getting back to a semi-decent finish just there with this. Do you know what? Might not look from up there, but down here, this is actually looking like it's kind of working. I've got the scratches from the sandpaper out mostly, and I've not got any of that horrible bloom effect from the stuff mouldering into the surface of the paint. Oh, that's good. That's really good, actually. Who'd have thought something that old and that tired would still have some good left in it? There's probably a moral in there somewhere. Let's give it a quick black with diamond cut just to see what happens when I do. So I get one small square looking good, then I'll be confident to do the rest of the bonnet. Might need to turn the plug on. Now this very much is a moment of truth. Oh, that's better. Much better. Oh, it's got a decent shine now. Hopefully it'll come back, or sorry, not come back, stay back. Stay back. Oh, that's lovely. So, sandpaper, G7, diamond cut, and I'll finish up some diamond finish. But first of all, I'm now going to take the badge off. This beautiful, beautiful badge, and the washers, and then we'll give this entire bonnet a terrifying sandpaper. That looks so nice again. Oh, and it feels so smooth too. Beautiful. They say it's got to get worse where it gets better. This is not fun. Oh, what am I doing this? It's interesting. You can actually feel the difference in the texture as you're sanding with the water underneath it. It's smooth, but you know, not mirror smooth, but like smooth surface, flat surface where I've been sanding already. Down this end where I'm just starting, you can actually feel the roughness and the drag like you're going over a ploughed field almost. Well, it really is a case of worse before it gets better, because it looks pretty scarily bad at the moment. But I could even have sanded more just there looking at that now. Because this is a big area and hand polishing this much is going to take a while, I'm going to try it with the machine polisher instead, see how I get on with that. Let's face it, it can only make it worse. So, let's rinse it off, a little bit of Diamond Bright, what's it called, Express Wash and Wax. Let's see how we go. I'm going to say it looks quite good. Ha ha! We like it when it doesn't look absolutely, always a bit scratchy there. A bit more work on that one. Okay, so we've got a bit more work to do, but we are getting there. And this is not even the actual cut yet. This is just the deep cut, which is music really, isn't it? Not what we're doing here. I'll tell you what, looking at the angle you're looking at from over there, looks really bad compared with the angle I'm looking at it from over here. It's amazing how the light, the angle you're looking at things completely changes it. This is not how you normally use G7. You don't normally crumble it onto the car. Normally you put it in kind of a paste form onto the bodywork. So that's a very old bottle of waterless wash and wax. Okay, so I've done the entire bonnet now with the remains of the G7, and it looks, well, better than it did a minute ago. Still not as good as it did to start with, but now we're going to go in with the one cut and try and save it. Actually save my beautiful black paint, my lovely glossy paint. Oh, where's my mirror finish gone? This is actually heartbreaking to do. I really hope this is going to save this. Well, it looks okay from a distance, but get up close and there's a lot of little lines in there, so I need to be going back in again. And I've only done the sort of front corner first so far. This is a long time doing this. This is why professional detailing costs so much. I need to go back and do another pass at this. Then I can do the rest of the bonnet. Better, but not perfect. One pass, two passes. A lot better, but not perfect. It's better, but it's a long way from good enough. And that's just one little corner. Do you ever start a job and wish you hadn't started it? Because that's kind of where I'm feeling now. Which is a pretty common occurrence on this channel, weirdly. Well, that's got to be a good hour or more of polishing with the one cut. And this side still looks just the same, but then I haven't been polishing that side. I've been doing that side, which does actually look a lot nicer, in fact. Still got a few little marks in it, but it's coming up really, really nicely. And I've still got to go over it with the one finish as well, but that has actually come up really well. The only thing I'm regretting is that up here, just up the top, I can see where I didn't wet sand it. I can still see that horrible texture from where the leaves were kind of rotting into the paint. So I guess I might have to, well, I guess at some point I'm going to have to go and wet sand that as well, but based on the amount of time it's taken to polish the wet sanding scratches out, I won't be doing that today. Right, I don't know how good this looks to the camera, but it actually looks pretty decent in person. That was an exhausting few hours. Now I'm going to go over the one finish as well to put like a finer finish on this and take out any little minor marks that the one cut has left. Wow, that is exhausting. Well, not exhausting, but just very, very, very time consuming. Ford smile, this is going all day. It's 6:30. This video should have gone live at 6 o'clock. Well, I've been over everything with some diamond finish now, and it does look pretty good. So time to finish off now with some ceramic glaze, just to put a bit of a seal over the top of it. Just literally just spray on and wipe off, and that hopefully will give me more of a lasting finish than just bare paint. Just to the entire bonnet, and then we're done. Well, it's done. It looks really good. I can see myself though imperfections, because I'm the kind of person who focuses on the tiny, tiny little problems rather than the overall amazingness of everything else. That took a really long time. Would I recommend doing wet sanding on your own bonnet if it's only like a minor imperfection? 100% not. Definitely don't do that. Leave that to professionals or find some other alternative method of doing it, because I thought that would take an hour or two and then I get on and crack on with sorting out the cooling system, sorting out that squealing alternator, figure out what that was, and have, you know, a bigger video than just polishing a bonnet. But that has been an entire day of polishing, and I can still see hairline scratches under the shine. And if that kind of bloom comes back through the paint tomorrow, I'm just gonna sit here and cry, frankly, because that's too much effort for that to happen. It really is. But yeah, so hopefully I've finally beaten that kind of horrible, well, flat, nasty, blooming stuff coming through the paint. I'm going to have glazed it as well. It's not going to come back, because that has been just been driving me mad, because I would wash the car, I would polish it, it would look great, and then the next day that stuff would just come straight out of the paint. It was etched into the paint itself. So hopefully we've taken enough of the top surface off now to solve that. I hope I have. Anyway, thank you for sticking with this. This has been a long and, for me, arduous and boring video to make. Hopefully it's been less arduous to watch. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Like, subscribe, head to the merch store, you know the business. Take care, goodbye.